Valleys. Let's have a look at the teams now with George Doniger.
Wynnum-Manly first, Billy, and the Wynnum's best team they can put out this year, I feel. The noise you can hear is the final of reserve grade, and Valleys have just won that, but the Wynnum-Manly team, Colin Scott at fullback, Butler and Warren Green on the wing. Warren Green kicking 7 goals in their 35-0 demolition of Redcliffe in the first game. In the centres, Big Gene Miles and Brett French, a good pair. The halves, Walsh and Dawes, some contention about whether Walsh should be in the team over Samuelson. Walsh would be my first pick. Walsh and Dawes the halves, Johnston at lock forward, Batiste and Seaton, 2 strong second rows. Zillman, Morris and Green make up a very formidable front row. In the Valleys lineup, of course, the injury, the suspension to Greg Walker has brought young Joe Bozzy into the team. Bozzy, 22 years old, motor mechanic, and has played some tough games in third and reserve grade. What a baptism of fire having to play your first A-grade game against Rod Morris in a preliminary final. The rest of the team, very strong. Some crowd over Duncan. He could have an ankle injury. We'll see how hard he goes. Chalosky at fullback, and Klein and Whelan on the wings. Duncan and Fisher in the centres. Lewis at 5/8 and captain, the linchpin of the whole team. Murray at halfback. Robert Moore, the improving Robert Moore at lock forward. Bob Arnold and Brian Niebling in the second row. Joe Bozzy and Al McGuinness the props. And, of course, Terry Karokin is the hooker. Great game coming up. Preliminary final day. Let's get on with the football.
Well, the preliminaries are over. It's down to the action now. There's the kickoff with Wynnum-Manly coming from the northern end of the ground through the hands of Chalosky. Picks it up and starts to return up the centre. And will be put down about 15 metres out now from the Fortitude Valley line. From the play the ball. And here's a big strong run coming up from Bozzy. He's going to be put to the ground just about, just in so rather coming across. That was Russell Klein.
Yes, involving himself very quickly in the game.
And got a bit of a bump, George. I noticed him holding his nose as he came away from that. Ball rolling loose. And it is a Valley ball under there. They're going to come away with it. And it's Peter Fisher from the play the ball. This is Mark Murray. Darryl Duncan. We'll soon see whether that ankle is going to stand up to things. He'll find out. There's 4 Wynnum-Manly players came in over the top to take care of him. From the play the ball now. Wally Lewis turned it back inside. Coming through was Robert Moore. Final tackle coming up. Lewis knew about that.
I think you'll find that Wynnum-Manly will be trying to put Lewis on the ground at every occasion.
Which they do, but
he got the ball away. Beautifully done.
Robert Moore. Just looking back in the back play, George, 4 guys getting off Wally Lewis.
Yes.
And he was still able to get the pass away. But you're so right. They're going to put him under a lot of pressure today.
The average stanza will be much the same as last week. Pretty fiery, and it takes about 10 minutes to get rid of a few nerves. And it just depends which of these teams come out of the first 10 minutes the best as to who shall settle down first. Peter Dawes being spoken to. Lewis is there. Nothing untoward happening, but Ward having to cool things down very quickly. But the testing 10 minutes it depends who can come out of it the best as to who can get their game together.
First scrum of the match, and it's going to be a Wynnum-Manly ball. Peter Dawes knocked to the ground. Solid stuff there. Robert Moore, the man. From the play the ball. Valley's certainly going to put Wynnum-Manly under a lot of pressure. That's Johnson. No doubt about it when the teams came out, George, where the sentiments of this big crowd lie. They're all Wynnum-Manly way. Gary Seaton. Oh, Batiste was almost going to let one go.
Well done, Eddie Ward. And McGuinness is pretty good at doing that, as a matter of fact. Coming through late. And he didn't hurt Batiste. But they are asking the referee, can we have a look inside that bandage? Colin Scott, here it is. You'll see the somewhat late tackle here. You can't know it's behind the play. McGuinness has gone through behind the camera there. Seaton, there's McGuinness getting up, but Batiste copped the brunt of it.
Batiste was going to let one go too, George.
That's right, and the Wynnum-Manly players have asked referee Ward to have a look under to see what's under the bandage, but he won't be in it.
Here's a great kick. And Wynnum-Manly on the attack now, just inside the quarter line. Tap is going to be taken by Green. That's Dawes. He had Batiste coming through outside. McGuinness the tackler. From the play the ball now. David Green, dummy half. Cutting across to Walsh.
Oh, beautifully done.
Got the pass away nicely this time to French. French is going to be put down about 5 metres out. A blistering start from the Seagulls.
Oh, Walsh made a fool of Lewis on that occasion.
From the play the ball, here's Gene Miles, the man that could find the hole. He gets it away this time to Batiste. Seaton gets it away to Butler. Butler for the corner. Is it a try? Yes, it is. It's a try. To Wynnum-Manly.
What a way to start. The touch judge over there is Johnny Burns, and it was his decision. It was the touch judge. Here's the break. Look at that. Brian Walsh cut him apart. Beautiful pass to French. French come infield, had support outside with Warren Green. Come inside, it's past Wally Lewis, but the cover from behind of Brian Niebling pulls him down. And this will be very close. But the touch judge over there, John Burns, had no indication that when he went into touch. Referee Ward couldn't see it, that's for sure. And it was the touch judge's decision on this occasion. Let's watch it very closely. Out it goes. Good passing. Gene Miles, the big fellow, goes for a run. Tries to fend them off. Can't do so. Fires one out. I thought that the player, I think it was Seaton, got the ball out there. I thought he could have scored himself. There he is, but he give it out again. And Terry Butler flew for the corner. And we'll see it better on the head-on. He went flying through the air. We'll have a look from the head-on. The kick's over! And here's the run again. 5-0 to score. Watch it, slow it down a bit. We'll see if he gets to the corner. And Butler goes over now. Fair try. A good decision there from the touch judge.
Almost 14 minutes gone in this, the first half. Wynnum lead by 5-0. They've won another scrum. Brian Walsh trying to turn it back inside. He's found Johnson. Johnson cutting through. It's going to be tackled in a last-ditched effort by Shalosky, but Wynnum on the boil again. Seaton to Batiste. Batiste, dangerous at this angle. Lost by Seaton, yes, knock on. Well, Valleys have one big problem, George, possession.
Yes, you can't win the ball game without the ball. And the scrums at this stage are favouring Wynnum 4-1.
Mark Murray in by Mark Murray. Referee wants it in again. Henley Wynnum. Well, I suppose they've got to try something.
Well, Billy, the scrums are going Wynnum way 4-1. Penalties are going Wynnum way 4-0. And the penalties from the scrum 3-0. So they've got all the ball.
From the tap, that's David Green. Dummy half waiting for it is Seaton. Seaton turns it on to Rodney Morris. He's crashing.
Oh, it's over.
He's over.
Yes.
He's in. Wynnum lead by 8-0.
Oh, yes. What a great try, Rod Morris. He's dangerous close to the line. Here he comes. Crash into the defence and has the experience to spin around. As he spins around, down the ball goes. Second try Wynnum, and they lead by 8 points to 0. Watch it from front on. Morris, a real tough run. Hits McGuinness. Bozzy's there. Lewis is there, but he spins. Spins in the tackle and puts the ball over the line.
Can he do it? Coming back? No, it just doesn't come back enough. So it's 8-0. Wynnum leading Valleys. A scrum that has been, I'd say it's the closest Valleys have been to that Wynnum-Manly line, George.
Yes, and it's the first penalty they've received from the scrum. The scrums are favouring Wynnum 4-1. The penalties from the scrums favour Wynnum 3-1.
Well, it didn't.
And penalties all up are 4-1, so you can imagine what the penalties have been from the scrums.
It didn't stop Peter Dawes, the Wynnum halfback, questioning getting Ward just the same.
Chance for Wynnum, chance for Valleys now. Need points desperately.
Carockin to Lewis. Lewis away to Mark Murray. Back inside to Niebling, or rather Bozzy. Up as dummy half waiting for it is Darryl Duncan. He likes to bustle his way through from there, and he went very, very close.
Oh.
Very close. Carockin's up as dummy half. Can the Diehards come back? They've lost it. Wynnum ball. Big chance.
Good refereeing from Eddie Ward. They had the chance to pick it up, Fortitude Valley. They didn't pick it up, and Wynnum-Manly grabbed it.
Gene Miles making some valuable ground. Now, Green is dummy half. Was going to send it to Batiste, but he'd overrun him by that time. They're not putting the man down at the moment, Valleys. Green was able to wriggle out of a couple of tackles on that occasion. Johnson able to get it away. Dawes trying to slip up the centre.
Yes, with the Valleys defence, the first man to the tackle is not affecting the tackle. They're sort of leaving one man out of the defence every time.
No doubt.
This is great tactics from Des Morris. Every time they get in the half, bang, big Gene Miles sends it straight back down.
Shalosky shaping for a kick. Let's hope it's better than the last one.
Well, it's a terrible kick, as you can see. It hardly gains about 20 metres. That's all Warren Green.
To Colin Scott on the bustle. Got away from Mark Murray. Lewis there to put him down. From the play the ball, Green is dummy half. That's Warren Green to Mark Zillman. Out of another tackle.
Oh, yes!
Round the corner to Walsh.
Oh!
Will he get there himself? Goes to the corner and is in.
Oh, what a pass from Zillman. What a pass from Mark Zillman. And Roddy Morris is there congratulating Brian Walsh. But watch the work of Mark Zillman. Here he is. An impossible too placed to get the ball away. Still has the ball in both hands. Now he gets it. Look at him. Look at that for a pass. Oh, that is very, very hard to do, and Brian Walsh does the rest of the work. He's just inside the touchline. Watch him. Gets the ball down, and he's centimetres from the touchline. 3 tries, Wynnum-Manly, 11 points to 0. Watch it again. Here's Zillman from front on. There's the defence, hanging on. He still gets his arms free and gives it to Walsh. That's one of the best front row forward passes I've seen for a long time. Walsh is too slippery. Into the corner he goes. Shalosky gets hold of him. And Wynnum-Manly flying here this afternoon. 3 tries, 11 points to 0. What a game, Billy.
And Mark Zillman starring against his old team in Fortitude Valley. By golly, he's improved this year, though.
And here it is again, 3 tries in the same space of time as what Wynnum scored 3 tries against Redcliffe in the preliminary. And look at the Valley camp. They can't understand what's happening.
Warren Green, he's online. Oh. It's there, no doubt about it. Just over 32 minutes gone in this, the first half, as the scrum packs down. Another Wynnum ball over to this time to Walsh. Was going to try and send it over the top. Coming up as dummy half is Gene Miles. The big fella decides to go himself again. Put down about 18 metres out from the Valley line. Green to dummy half. Over to Seaton. He decides to run himself. Dummy half, David Green. Green back over to Dawes, to Walsh, to Matisse on the burst.
Wynnum-Manly warming up again. They've scored 3 tries.
Tackler there was Bob Arnold again. Johnson goes himself. Ooh, pulled down with the final tackle coming up. Dummy half is Green. Back over this time to Colin Scott as a top shot at goal. It's there. Another point on the board for Wynnum. 14 to 0, and that's really rubbing it in. Here's the kickoff now. That's Terry Butler coming through. Still going the little winger. Finally getting up to play it. David Green from dummy half. Dawes. Seaton. He's had a good steadying influence. If Wynnum needs steadying. That's Brian Batiste. Green coming up over the halfway. Wynnum-Manly making valuable yardage on just about every occasion. Brian Batiste. A little bit of uncertainty here, though. Colin Scott. Scott about 4 or 5 metres inside Valley territory. Walsh. Over this time to Johnson. Dummy half coming up is Dawes. Dawes to swing across to Seaton. Inside to Zillman. Lost. Brian Niebling comes away with it.
A little bit haphazard there. Wynnum-Manly won't want to lose concentration, because if they do, lapse for 1 minute, Valley will capitalise on it.
This is Mark Murray. Ooh. Picked up by Daryl Duncan. Still going as the centre. Back inside. Ball rolls loose. Dived up by Lewis. Touched by the opposition. Another 6 there.
Niebling injured, Billy. I noticed he was injured before, but boy, we've seen him do this on numerous occasions. Looked like he was going to die and still stay on the field and play it blind. And we'll see what happens this afternoon.
Here's Wally Lewis to Mark Murray. To Arnold. Inside this time to Russell Klein, but well wrapped up. 5 metres from halfway. Wynnum's lead is 14 to 0. McGuinness bumped off the tackle on that occasion and hurt the player who went in to get him, which was Gene Miles, but he's back onto his feet. Daryl Duncan. About 10 metres inside Wynnum territory with the final tackle coming up. Bozzy, dummy half to Mark Murray. Lewis. Lewis comes back the other way. Grubber kick for touch.
Oh, it might run there. No, Scott's going to cover it.
Colin Scott's back there. Runs into the in-goal area. Lewis setting sail after him. Oh!
Great tackle.
Colin Scott knew about it because Fisher was coming on the other side, but Lewis launched himself at him. There was commitment right from the time he kicked it, but here's a go. This is Walsh. Got away from Murray, looking for Butler. Gets over the halfway. Whelan got the speed. Whelan slowly getting to him. Butler cutting it across. He's going around. No way. With an 8-6 over.
What a try. Brian Walsh is having a blinder. Watch this one. 4 tries. Who would ever believe it? It's Brian Walsh's try. Butler ran all the way, but watch Walsh. He cuts him up. There he is with the ball now. Puts on the speed. Goes away from Mark Murray. Straight through the gap. Murray can't get to him. Then he straightens up. Butler beautifully positioned. Comes on the inside. Now the pass. Now we'll see the halfway line coming up. And Butler, there it is. And he does very well. He knows Whelan's there. He swerves one way. And then swerves the other way. When someone's behind you, just keep swerving and you can't go wrong. Towards the post is the best way, obviously. And it looks like McFarlane's coming on for Valleys. But there's Butler. 2 tries in the game and 4 tries, 17 points to 0 with a simple kick to come. Here's Walsh. Walsh inside. Oh, lovely stuff. This is what I'm talking about, swerving. He sees Whelan. He can see he's gaining, so he goes for his right hand for a start across the other way. Then when he's just go the other way and you just put the bloke behind you off balance, it's very hard to tackle somebody when they're moving from side to side. Obviously the kick's over and Butler under the post. And boy, what a boil over. 19 points to 0.
Another 10 minutes of the second half gone. In by Mark Murray. Penalty Wynnum.
Hey, did you see that? Mark Murray hooked it out himself. Can we see that again? Because Murray put the ball in and then put his foot in after it and hooked the ball out. An unusual thing for a halfback to do. Here it is. Murray puts it in. Now watch his foot. Whoop, he hooks it around. Giving Carocca no hand. Moments like these, you need minis.
Okay, here's the kick by Gene Miles. Play just inside the Valley quarter line. Wynnum-Manly coming up to take the tap from there. Rodney Morris. Tackle this time by Hickey.
The first man to the tackle again, not putting the ball carrier on the ground.
Zillman.
Oh.
Nice tackle underneath. There was Brian Niebling.
What a game he's having.
From the play the ball. That's Seaton. Lost the ball, stolen by Lewis. Got it to Mark Murray. Murray looking for Robert Moore. It took a little while to link up with them there.
Lewis can do most things on a football field, and that was one of them as well. Beautifully done. That's not illegal.
Over the top to Lewis. Lewis to Niebling. Niebling deciding to have a run. He's lost it. Wynnum ball dived on by Seaton. Away from dummy half doors. Can't find a way through. Dummy half is David Green. Over to Rod Morris. Still going.
Oh, yes. Roddy Morris just leading by example.
14 metres out for Wynnum-Manly. A lead of 19-2. Dawes to Walsh, to Miles. Players going everywhere, but that's Batiste. Dummy half Gene Miles. Knocked over with the final tackle on its way.
Walsh calling for it. Probably put a bomb up.
Right in front of the goalposts. No, Collins. Yes, Colin Scott's going to be the one. Not a bad one either. McFarlane's back there. Lewis is there. Lost by McFarlane. Oh, no try.
Off the arm.
Brian Walters, I've got it. Is that any good?
It'll be worth looking at again because referee Ward was right there. The touch judge is coming in, so whilst he's coming in, they'll have a bo peep at it. Watch it go high in the air. McFarlane was under a lot of pressure. Lewis did very sensible thing to get in front of McFarlane and try and shield him. There's Lewis under the post, and you can see it coming down, and he's in front of McFarlane, as you can see. Down it comes, it bounces away, touched first, and then Wynnum-Manly finished with it, but to no avail.
And Colin Scott getting charged down for his effort in that. Mark Murray's off now for Valleys.
Wilson's on.
Williams lost. Wynnum-Manly ball. Dummy half now is David Green. Wynnum's lead is 19-2, but that could increase any moment. Even though Valleys have played with a lot more purpose in this second half. Rod Morris unloaded it. Little Peter Dawes, who's risen to the occasion in the 2 semi-final matches that Wynnum have had. Penalty coming up, Wynnum. Warren Green for the shot at goal. And it's there. 21-2. 15 minutes into the second half. And Wynnum-Manly have added a penalty, takes their lead to 21-2.
One important change in the second half. Mark Murray has been replaced by Wilson.
Well, I guess he won't like that coming off the field with an Australian selector here.
Well, you can't lay the blame at anybody's feet. Wynnum-Manly have played magnificent football. They've kept it up. Valleys almost scored in the first minute of the second half. And had they have done that, maybe a different story. But at this stage, no matter what Valleys seem to try, it's not working for them. They're throwing a few loose passes. They've got to try things. There's no two ways about that. They've got to try things, get points on the board. But everything Wynnum tries works. Like this.
Colin Scott got up, went to go again, and knocked down by Williams. About to play it now. Gene Miles, the dummy half. Batiste still going. Lost his footing, though.
Valleys players standing off the tackle, and when they do get to the tackle, the first player to the tackle usually doesn't hold the man. They've got to put the man on the ground. The first man there's got to hold him at least.
Johnson to Dawes. Been a busy little player for them today. Here's Corocan and Johnson in the back play.
There's been a few minor little skirmishes, nothing too serious. The idea in these situations is to hang on so that the other fella can't get his arms free. If you hang on long enough, you get a bit tired, so you decide that, well, we'll both give it up and go and play some more football. And Des Morris still looking very stern in the grandstand, the Wynnum-Manly coach, but what thoughts must be going through his mind. What a magnificent player he's been. And what a magnificent job he's made of coaching. I would never have thought that the scoreline would read 21 points to 2 and 4 tries to 0 going Wynnum-Manly way. Corocan being spoken to, penalty going to Wynnum-Manly. And obviously Warren Green will come in and kick for goal.
Lewis just standing there shaking his head.
Dally M night on Friday night, and one of the players in Brisbane to pick up that beautiful block of land from Entrad, also the Suzuki from Zaps and the Canberra television gear. So there's bound to be a few players from these two games out there enjoying their time. So let's have a look at the prizes now.
The player judged the Channel O 1982 Dally M Super.
Ross Strudwick will be there too. Peter McWhirter was the coach of the Valleys reserve grade side. They got home this afternoon. Valleys beat Brothers 9-8.
He was very happy on that occasion, George, but I don't think he's terribly happy now.
His first stint at coaching, and good to see from Peter McWhirter.
Here's a kick coming up from Warren Green. He's there again. Another 2 points. Wynnum 23, Valleys 2. Wally Lewis sends it into play. Colin Scott over there. In the in-goal area. Will run it out. Out of Corocan's tackle. Couldn't get away from the next one, though. That was Wilson over there. Right, Gary Seaton coming through. David Green. Touched by the opposition. Another 6 tackles as Lewis struck at it there and they play the ball. Rod Morris. Crowd starting to chant, "Go home, Valleys." Maybe there's a few of them wouldn't mind going home at this stage, George. As Wynnum turn it on again. This is Brett French to Terry Butler. Couple of tries on the board already.
Lewis has got him. Beautiful.
Oh, over the top went Wally Lewis. McFarlane underneath.
Great defence. Great defence.
From the play the ball. Miles to Walsh. Dawes, Seaton thundering up the centre. Got it away nicely to Colin Scott. This is footy. Warren Green. Green going to be knocked over.
Seaton loving this.
The whole Wynnum team loving it. Final tackle coming up. Almost touched by the opposition again, but it wasn't. There's the bomb. McFarlane's back there. Zillman's there. Oh, straight over the top, and McFarlane took it nicely. David Green, or rather Brett French, was down in the back play, but he's back onto his feet now. Warren Green's going to take it. And he's now going to have a... Whoops, which way are we going? Lewis has come here. Chest high, says referee Ward.
Yes, correct.
From the play the ball. Green, that's David Green, to Brian Walsh. Hasn't he had a game? Tackler there is Terry Corocan.
One player sitting in the grandstand with his sunglasses on, as always, a very worried Bob McCarthy.
Yes, he's got to try and stem this tide next week. And, of course, important for Wynnum now to get through without any injuries. But, here's Fretch onto it, but he's lost it. Brian Niebling will get it.
Few errors coming into Wynnum-Manly's game. They don't really want that. They're in complete command at 23-2, and one cannot see Valleys coming back. Even that fabulous, famous diehard spirit, I can't see them coming back. They could put points on the board, but it's important that Wynnum-Manly now hold their game together completely for the full 80 minutes.
Okay, here they go. Wally Lewis, Darryl Duncan cuts out McGuinness. Fisher couldn't get it. McFarlane can, though. Dodging around as the little fullback. But Gene Miles takes care of the dodging. Valleys cutting it up. Fisher standing there as dummy half to Wally Lewis. Lewis is going to kick. Warren Green's back there, got a hand to it, knocked it back behind him. It's racing for touch. He's going to find it.
Great kick, Wally Lewis.
Just over 22 minutes into the second half, and Wynnum's lead is 23-2. A Valley ball. Cutting around there this time is Wilson. He's replaced Mark Murray. Williams dummy half. Over to Lewis. He couldn't handle it, but he regathers. McFarlane. Bit of a chance for the little fullback.
Oh,
back yes. Inside. Darryl Duncan. Over. Getting up the flats. Coming up as dummy half this time is Chris Williams. Puts his head down. Wynnum-Manly desperate to keep their line intact. Darryl Duncan. He puts the head down. But he's forced back on this occasion. Williams up as dummy half. I don't think Valleys will try and force it through there. Lewis to Ryan Niebling. Over the corner. Yes. Russell Klein. And Klein is in.
Valleys score a deserved try. They've been plugging away there. And they finally got across the line. Russell Klein this time. And it was almost the same move of last week. Lewis, a little dummy to Niebling. Niebling couldn't finish it off on this occasion. He couldn't get through to score the try, but he fired over the top to Russell Klein. And Klein goes in to score Valley's first try. And the 23 points to 5 looks a little bit more respectable. Here it is. Lewis just hangs onto it long enough to give Niebling the run. There's Niebling. Green has him. And in comes Russell Klein. And it's shut the gate from there, of course. Walsh comes across, but he only has to fall across the line to score Fortitude Valley's first try. As I said, if Wynnum-Manly do go through and win this one, they will be the fourth team since 1970 to get to the grand final. And it seems to be the death knell of teams that lose the major grand semi-final. Only twice in the last 12 years has the team that lost the major semi-final come back to play in the grand final.
Here's a kick on its way, waved away. Today is not the day, boys. Wynnum 23, Valleys 5. Gene Miles to set play in motion. 24 and a half minutes into this second half. McFarlane. First try
Wynnum had scored against them in 144 minutes of football.
It's not a bad effort, is it?
Especially when it's semi-final stuff.
It tells a very big story. Terry Carrocken is the dummy half. At least Valleys have scored a try. That's something they can be thankful for. That's Hickey. Carrocken, dummy half. Swings away to McGuinness on the blind side. Big bustling run from the front rower.
Wynnum have slowed their momentum a bit. They aren't going in near as tough as they were early on, and they should keep doing that.
Lewis to Fisher. Fisher held up by Brett French. Final tackle's on its way now. Dummy half Russell Klein to Lewis. Lewis is going to put the boot underneath it. Going back there is Brian Walsh. Walsh comes up towards the quarter line. Lewis coming across to take care of him. Diving in underneath is Wilson. Sean Johnson. Of course, we have a George Simon suit winner coming up at the end of this match.
I've said on numerous occasions I wish he'd give me 13 of them. But we'll find somebody. There's been some fabulous performances there. First change to Wynnum coming up too, by the look of it. Wayne Bullock on the sideline getting warmed up. Look, what a run from Morris once again. Just couldn't get it to Batiste.
Brian Walsh is injured at the moment. Dawes to Miles, to French, to Miles, doubling around. Now put to the ground. Brian Walsh will leave the field. It doesn't look good.
Oh, golly gee, Brian Walsh. One of the casualties of the game. And
does not look good, George.
I was just about to say that Wynnum-Manly haven't had to replace anybody. The Bullocks trying to get on. And Batiste is coming off, so they'll have to find a replacement also for Brian Walsh. So Batiste on and Bullock off. Batiste not injured, just a tactical replacement.
Actually, he stayed there for the moment because there's still one man short with Walsh off. This is Bullock.
Obviously, Samuelson will come on. Yes, he's talking to Des Morris now, Samuelson. No, he's making him sit back down again.
I'm going to pull someone else out. Brian Walsh in quite a deal of pain. Bullock trying to get it away. From the play the ball now. This is Rod Morris. Terry Butler. Oh, crashing into him this time is Shalosky. From the play the ball. Over there to Dawes. Taken back there by Wally Lewis. Quickly sends it to McFarlane. Out of one tackle. That of French. Now they lose it, do they? Yes, they have. It's a Wynnum ball. Wynnum-Manly ball.
Tony Camburis has come on to replace Brian Walsh.
Wynnum-Manly fans calling for another try. They lead by 23-5. Mark Zillman had a powerhouse game today. Green away from dummy half. Running onto it solidly there is Bullock. Dummy half, David Green. Dawes. Camburis. Going to be picked up by Brett French. Up over the quarterway. Still going, but eventually put to the ground. Trying to get it to Camburis coming through. Green to Rod Morris. Back the other way to Dawes. Gene Miles. Seaton. Butler. Chance for the little fellow again.
Yes! 3!
Over.
Oh! What a try! 3 tries in the preliminary final. And what a game Butler's had. He might have scored, he might have only scored 7 tries all year. But 3 and a knock in the preliminary is a big game. Here it is. They're making things out of nothing, Wynnum. Nothing was on here until the ball started to move to Miles. Nice little pass from Miles to Seaton. Seaton saw the gap way out wide, give it to Butler and said, use your speed, son. That he did. The cover coming across. Niebling couldn't get to him. Lewis couldn't get to him. And in the corner he went. Beautiful try. 3 tries, 26 points. Watch it from front on, as I said. There was nothing on. It just went out quick. Miles made it. Gave it to Seaton. Seaton shot it quickly out there. Had either of those two players, Miles and Seaton, tried to run, the try would never have been on. Here comes Lewis, but it's too late. And Butler goes in for number 3. 3 tries, 5 tries all up, 23 points to 5. Sorry, 26 points to 5.
Here's a kick by Warren Green, waved away. So the score remains Wynnum lead by 26-5. Lewis to set play. Underway again. Just on 9 minutes of the match remaining.
Interesting to note, Billy, that's the most number of points Valleys have had scored against them in a game this year. They lost to West 21-5. They lost to South 25-8. And they lost to Wynnum-Manly 23 points to 11. So 26 points is the most number of points any team has scored against the Valleys this season.
Wynnum-Manly on the bustle again. They're 10 metres from the halfway mark. Bullock taking it up. Crowd calling for Wynnum as Gene Miles takes it on the halfway mark. Upended. Final tackle coming up. Green sends it to Rod Morris. Right over the top. Pulled down by Fisher, but doesn't get far.
It was worth the gamble, Rod Morris. It didn't work, but it was worth it.
So now Al McGuinness is dummy half. That's Russell Klein.
He hasn't stopped trying, Russell Klein.
Here we go, big run up the centre. Brian Niebling to dummy half. Lewis. Moore to Hickey. Hickey going to be held up. From the play the ball now. This is Al McGuinness. Going to be tackled by Camburis. Corocan.
Scrums have favoured Wynnum-Manly 9-6. The penalties have favoured Wynnum 9-4. And the penalties from the scrums favoured Wynnum 5-2.
Chris Williams. Another replacement coming on for Fortitude Valley now.
Bobby Knight. Robert Knight coming on. We'll see who goes off. Al McGuinness going off. Well, McGuinness has given them yeoman service as well. Knight on, McGuinness off.
Valleys win this scrum. Wilson across to Lewis. Lewis puts in a kick, following through as McFarlane out after it. Colin Scott's going to be the first one there, though. He decides to try and run it out of that in-goal area, and he does.
Well done, Colin Scott.
He had a little McFarlane after him. So now, Wynnum set to ruck it out. Warren Green. Camburis. From the play the ball now, David Green to Johnson. Time ticking away. 5 minutes remaining. And Wynnum's lead at this stage is 26-5. Final tackle coming up now. Back over there to Gene Miles. The boot coming in underneath it. Going across is Shalosky. He'll take it on the bounce. Up the centre, Shalosky. Nice tackle. Underneath went Dawes. Good work. Valley's about 8 metres inside Wynnum-Manly territory. Wally Lewis shapes to kick. Now gets it away to Niebling. Niebling broke out of the tackle, got up, started cutting back inside. Dummy half is Corocan. Wilson, Lewis, Duncan. Over the top. Whoa, coming in is Russell Klein. He's over the quarterway. Called in it by David Green, was calling for it. He sent the pass, but it's been knocked on. Down they go, the scrum right on the quarter line. That's the Wynnum-Manly quarter line. Wynnum will eventually win this one. Dawes, one of the many players that have had top-class matches for Wynnum today.
Yes, there's 4 minutes of play remaining, Billy. The game's gone Wynnum way, and they'll march into a bit of history for themselves. Their first grand final, and what a tribute to the whole team, to their coach Des Morris and to Rod Morris. But hasn't there been some phenomenal performances this afternoon? Colin Scott had that nagging injury to his ankle for a while. He's fully recovered, and when he's fully recovered, he is not dangerous. He's super dangerous. Terry Butler on the wing, 3 tries. What a game from Butler. Didn't get many tries during the year, only 7 during the whole fixture games, but this afternoon did everything right. His defence was terrific as well. And in the centre, French and Miles did their job. The fellow at halfback, Dawes, here he is with the ball. I thought that he would be their weak link. Now, I don't know whether Murray was injured or not, but he actually played over Murray whilst Murray was there, and Dawes had a great game. There's no two ways about that. For a fellow who I thought mightn't stand up to it, he's made me shut up, that's for sure, because he's had a blinder. Brian Walsh, the best game I've seen from Brian Walsh. I hope he's not injured badly. Had to leave the field. And, of course, in the forwards, Sean Johnson, an 80-minute player, a tremendous 80-minute player, and Batiste and Seaton. Also, Batiste has left the field, but they've got a super good side here, Wynnum-Manly. Batiste and Seaton revelled in the going, and the big front rower, Mark Zillman, hasn't he come of age? His ball distribution is has to be seen to be believed. The pass he gave to, who was it, Butler on the wing to score the try. Was a super two-handed pass that a front rower has to do a lot of work to do to get it away. He did it, and of course Rod Morris did everything asked of him as a captain's game, as a front rower, as a tight head, as anything you like, as a leader. Rod Morris was there. In the win, that's the Wynnum-Manly lineup. Every one of them played exceptionally well. In the Valley lineup, unfortunately, it just wasn't Valley's day. They tried, as they always do. The Diehards never stopped trying. Lewis, after he settled down, he got a bit frustrated in the first couple of moments, Lewis. After he settled down, he played some magnificent football, but Wynnum-Manly seemed to have his answer. They seem to be able to bottle Lewis up. There's a magnificent kick from Lewis now. They seem to be able to bottle him up, and once they bottle him up, they bottle the game up, and no other club seemed to be able to do it. But in the forwards, Bobby Arnold till he went off. Brian Niebling tried very hard. Carockin, Al McGuinness did everything that was asked of him. Robert Moores improved every game, played very well. And of course, Fisher and Duncan, they had the problem of handling Miles, and that was a big problem to have. Shilowski at fullback hurt his arm in the first half and never really showed out. And Wheeland, until he was replaced, tried hard. Russell Klein, probably one of their better players in the back line.
Okay, here's Wynnum-Manly with it now. That's Colin Scott. They lead by 26 points to 5. And the dying moments of the match now, and what we can look forward to is next week here at Lang Park, when Wynnum-Manly will play Southern Suburbs for what should be a bumper crowd at a top-class rugby league match. Okay, this is Rodney Morris. Turns it away. That's Gene Miles. Gets the one-handed pass to Colin Scott. Up to McFarlane. Looking for support, but he's trying to get away, but there's no chance. But he was working all the way, Colin Scott. Getting up to play it now. And Dawes of the dummy half. Morris. Over it comes this time to Johnson. Johnson going to be held up in centre field. From the play the ball. Gary Seaton will be the dummy half. Seaton trying to force his way through. But it's the end of the tackle count. Park. Wynnum-Manly are into the grand final. They defeated Valleys, outclassed Valleys today to the tune of 26 points to 5.
And my man of the match, my George Simon suit winner, I went right through the Wynnum-Manly team, but the fellow who's played above himself once again in the middle of the screen, Gene Miles, number 4. Gene Miles, his towering line kicks in the first half put Wynnum-Manly down in the taking position. It's the best defence I've seen from Gene Miles ever since he's been in Brisbane. His attack was, as usual, strong, tough, straight and hard. And even in the last moment, he broke through to give Colin Scott a good pass. My George Simon suit winner and man of the match this afternoon, Wynnum-Manly centre, Gene Miles.
Okay, so that's it from Lang Park. We'll be back with you next Sunday for the big one. Until then, Billy J. Smith signing off from Lang Park.
Stay with Channel O for 1 hour of match, followed at 8:30 by the movie premiere, One on One, starring Robbie Benson.
League 82 was brought to you by Kentucky Fried Chicken, Entrad and Gerlock, specialists in automatics, brakes and